Welcome back to the Right Side of Grace podcast. I'm Addie.
I'm Rick.
What do we say after that?
Well, we're just going to recap last week's episode, which was...
What was it about, Dad? You explain.
Well, I went to Uganda, talked about...
That was not last
That
episode.
was episode 2.
He has dementia. Oh, wait, maybe I should
Last
say.
episode was
Oh, it was...
Last episode was
the kitchen
Super
table.
Bowl,
kitchen table. Yeah, Super Bowl kitchen table.
and something else.
I've just watched it.
Beast games.
Beast games and what else?
The
was it?
DUI.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was like DIY. That's what I was thinking of. DIY.
Do it yourself?
Yeah, not DUI. Anyway, so yeah, last week's episode was pretty fun. We didn't talk too much about politics like we did in the second episode.
That's fine.
We did a little.
Yeah, we did a little bit. Talked about what's important to you.
Oh, we did. What am I saying? We talked all about, that's another thing we missed. We talked about women in sports. We talked about podcasters being able to go to the press.
That's right.
And then I think that was about it. And anxiety. We did talk about anxiety.
Yeah, speaking of anxiety, we talked a little bit about that. Kind of like at the very end, we just kind of talked
We
about...
said small things.
Yeah, small things. One of the things I kind of really wanted to kind of talk about with anxiety was, like, you hear people say this a lot. My anxiety, I have anxiety. I am anxious, and they kind of claim it's like an identity statement when you say, I am something. I am anxious. This is my anxiety. You're making an identity claim, and I think we got to be careful when we do that, because I'm a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a child of the King. I'm a child of the Lord, and I'm having some anxious feelings. This emotion is overtaking me, and I need to fight this. But I am not that. I am not my anxiety. I'm not those things. I'm a Christian. Yeah.
I think the one thing that was kind of interesting for me to see, because I feel like growing up, like you and Mom never has said the word anxiety to me or to anyone in our family. Like that was just not, I don't think I really knew what that word was until until I got older and I moved here, and people just started saying, they deal with anxiety or they're struggling with anxiety. And yes, I think we all have struggles with that, but I think it's something that is just so shoved down our throats, and especially to younger kids. And so they're just raised with this preconceived notion that everything is just anxiety. And I think growing up, we didn't have that. It wasn't you're a really anxious person and this is just who you are. It was more of you're nervous and that's fine to be nervous, but that's not who you are. It's more of this is just what you're feeling in that moment. And I think differentiating that from, this is something that is just something you can struggle with and not who you are as a person. But I think a lot of times people struggle with it because it's just so in your face right now. I feel like that's all on social media. That's what parents are saying when their kids are struggling, is they just struggle with anxiety. And I think it's a crutch. To a sense. But I do think that there are people out there that really, really, really do struggle with anxiety. And I don't to that level, so I can't really speak on that.
I just think you have to recognize where I think it comes from. And I think it comes from, a fear of how you're going to be perceived or how your life is going to turn out, or, it's a fear of lack of control of whatever the situation may be. And so I like to say in 1 Peter 5, I think the Lord is telling us to cast our anxieties on him because he cares for us. So look, don't worry. You need to get rid of that anxiety because it's not good for you and it's not part of my plan for you. You need to make sure that you're trusting me. And I'm often reminded of Genesis 50, where the story of Joseph, really, all the way through Genesis, where, if you're familiar with the story, most people are, you're familiar with, Joseph's this little cocky little guy. His brothers really didn't like him. They beat him up and threw him in a pit and wanted to kill him. And then one of his brothers convinced him, let's not kill him, let's make money on him. And then, so they sold him into slavery, and then he went into Potiphar's house. And that the Bible actually says that Potiphar, who Joseph was working for, that he was blessed for Joseph's sake. Like, so Potiphar was being blessed. Like, Joseph was just faithful. He was a good servant, a good worker. And the Lord was blessing all that he did, all that Joseph did for his sake, but he was blessing Potiphar. All the while, he was trending down. So Joseph's life was going downward, and everybody else was benefiting from Joseph because he went from Potiphar's house. And remember, his wife made a claim that wasn't true. So he got put in jail. So that was trajectory was down, though Potiphar was blessed. Then he went to the jail. The jail was blessed, but Joseph was not. Other people came into the jail. He interpreted their dreams, and one was restored, and his life was blessed because of Joseph. And the jail was successful because of Joseph, but Joseph was stuck. He wasn't experiencing those blessings that everybody else was, but it was his faithfulness that was causing all these blessings. And so he could have been, complaining his whole life, but he didn't really do that. Other people were being blessed for his sake, but he wasn't yelling at God and angry. And I think he was just content with where, like he didn't enjoy it, I don't think, but I'm going to be faithful. I'm just going to serve the Lord, and the Lord's going to take care of what the Lord takes care of. And then of course, he gets promoted to second overall Egypt. And at the end of Genesis 50, he says, that kind of sums up his life, I think. When his brothers come back to him after his dad died, they're like scared he's going to take revenge. And he said, look, you intended this for evil. And it's the same word he uses, but God intended this for good. Same word.
Yeah.
What you meant, what you desired, what you designed, what you acted on for evil, God designed for my good. And so you just have to trust the Lord no matter what situation you're in, whether you're in the prison or the palace, kind of, so to speak. But
yeah, I think that's super encouraging. Like when you hear that, because it's just you go through a lot of hard things, even if you're not a Christian. Like life is not easy, and it's not always going to be the best thing ever. And so I think to know that everything that happens is planned out can make it so much easier when you're going through those hard things. Mm-hmm. Like when yes, this is not my ideal situation, or this is going to be really tough, but I know that God has a plan for that. I think that's the biggest thing that we have to hold on to.
I think it's kind of like athletics.
Yes.
You train, you beat your body. Like when you lift weights, your muscles are actually ripping, and what causes them to grow is the repairing.
Right.
So that's part of the struggle, is what strengthens the human body. That's what your faith is doing.
Yeah.
So as you trust the Lord, you're going through difficulty. There's some anxiety you need to fight, and just fight it with faith and trust, and you can push through to the other side. Speaking of an athlete,
we have one in our presence.
We have an athlete here, college athlete, so to speak.
She's now entering in.
D1, come on in. Ooh, I'm tripping over this chair here.
Okay, Lara, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Lara.
Can you say your last name? Because
yeah, we're
my
not
last
gonna
name,
be able
Lara
to.
Kretschmer.
Kretschmer. Am I close?
Close.
Close. So, okay. Close.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Do we say your first name correctly? Lara?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, when I first met you, I think I called you Laura, which is horrible. Why did we call you that? What did you call her?
I tried to call her Lara at first.
What did he call you at first? Laura?
Lara.
Yeah.
Lara.
Yeah,
Lara.
it was more like a Lara kind of thing than it was the Laura. But I just kind of quit. Like I was like, whatever. I'm not. She knows I'm talking to her. But then I tried my best to kind of get to the Lara.
I think Lara works.
Annika really made me try hard.
Yeah.
She was
on it.
Yeah, she was definitely. Annika is one of Lara's great friends. Actually came in freshman year with Lara along with other girls, and they came visited our college ministry. Lara plays volleyball at Charlotte. She has been all conference, preseason all conference, What else have you been?
Yeah, give us all of
You've
it.
been all academic, all conference
Yeah.
as well? Because she's
a-
got a 4.0.
She's a genius. We have a
Have you
genius in our
ever got a
midst.
B? Ever?
Ever? Yes. In college, in a test, yes, but not on.
No. I'm talking about like a report card.
Not
Actually,
in college.
here's
no.
a real question. Have you
Okay.
ever failed a test?
No.
Oh my gosh, I wish that I had your brain inside my head. You've never failed a test?
No.
Like, as far as in high school as well?
Never. I mean, high school was fine. I think one time in maybe third grade, I got a German system. One is the best. 6 is the worst. And I was like in third grade and I got a 5 and I was really disappointed.
What? So, yeah, you're going to bring up, well, I didn't get an F.
I've
I got
never
like,
failed, but what?
I got next to the best. I didn't get the best. I
Well,
got the
it's
next
funny.
to
that
No,
you were-
1 is the best. 6 is the
Oh, I'm
worst.
sorry.
I got a 5.
I didn't
So
do,
it
I
was
didn't do so well in
bad,
school. So.
but
I didn't realize, or not, I didn't realize. I think it's funny that you remember the one time you've had a failure. I can remember all mine. There's a long list. We'd be here for 20 minutes if I was sailing.
Yeah, well.
I'm just kidding. That's so funny that you've never failed a test. Okay, so let's, I guess.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and then, kind of bring us to how you got to Hickory Grove. Well, we know why you came to Charlotte, but you can tell us.
Let's ask your easy question. What's your favorite color?
that's a hard question. I think by now it's green.
Oh, I like green. Okay, now that
Wait, is it what kind of green?
I like the Charlotte green, actually.
Did we find out what color that actually
Nice.
is?
Yeah, we did. We looked it up.
it's like a
what is-
foresty.
No.
Nope, not a forest green.
I forgot.
Do you remember? Yeah, you
No.
forgot. Whatever.
That's a good green. Okay, now you're acclimated.
What is
Okay.
it? Is this the pickup?
Oh my gosh, don't do that. Oh,
The
that's
pickaxe.
funny.
There you go.
Norm.
Yeah,
Norm.
Norm the Niner.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So I grew up in Germany. I grew up in a Christian household. My mom and especially my grandparents, were good Christians, very faithful, and I grew up going to church, hearing the typical Bible stories, and then at the age of 13, I believe, 12, 13, I started to go through, we call it, I think, confirmation, kind of like a 1.5-year program where we, get to know the Bible to a deeper extent and learn what it means to be a Christian. And after we went through that with 10 other, kids my age, it was kind of, if you aren't baptized yet, do you want to be baptized? Do you put your faith in Christ? And I did and got baptized, and then life kind of took over. I guess, I played volleyball. I went to the sports school, so I've been a student athlete for a long time now.
Yeah. Why don't you explain sports school and regular school to us Americans?
Okay. So, school system, you go to kindergarten when you're 1 year to 6. Then you go to first grade.
Till 6? You're in kindergarten?
It's whole, you go through
Okay,
different
well, I'm
groups, but
thinking-
it's this whole thing is called kindergarten.
I guess it's like daycare.
Yeah,
I didn't.
it is.
I didn't go to daycare.
Yeah. And then first through 6th grade, you go to an elementary school. And then you go to the next school, kind of a high school, in 7th grade. And I went to a sports school, and it was kind of, you had to try out for it.
So they have if you're not an athlete, you can't go to the sports school.
No, it was only athletes.
Right, so
And
you have to go
you
to-
needed an invitation to go there. You needed to convince the coaches, I guess, to invite you to go. And there was a big tryout. I think they were
So you have to have some kind of athletic
You have
ability.
to be good. You
Yes,
can't be a
you-
scrub.
Right.
Well, yes. I went to this tryout with 60 other kids, and it's actually funny. The only reason my mom let me go was because she thought I wouldn't make it.
No way. She had faith in you.
Well,
Don't you know?
no, but I just was bad at volleyball. I didn't play at that point. I was always on the
There's no way
sideline.
you were bad.
I didn't play. I went crying home every time because I didn't play. And then I went to that event, and my mom was like, "Sure, go. Why not, right?" And then the coach came up to her and was like, "Oh, your daughters are number one. She's so athletic. She's gonna be good." And my mom's like, "Well, that was it. No turning back now." So I went to sports school,
Aw.
7th grade through 13th grade.
Oh, right. You have an extra grade.
Yes. So typically it's 12 years. You go 7th through 10th grade, and after 10th grade, you can stop school. So you have a degree. It's not like a high school degree, but it's a good degree that you can find work with.
Yeah.
Or you decide to do 2 extra years, and get the higher degree. And those 2 extra years were spread into 3 years for us athletes. So we have more time to practice. So like practice was kind of involved in or included into our training schedule.
Do y'all play other schools, or do y'all just?
No. There are only a couple sports schools in Germany, so they don't play against each other. We had club volleyball, and we had like kind of the states played against each other like once a year.
Okay.
I think that's really a smart school system when you think about it. Like having a sports school, if America had.
It's similar to college now. Teachers know that like you're an athlete and
Right.
you have a lot on your plate, so they give you less homework, or they understand if you're missing class.
Well, they kind of have that IMG, and what's the school
I know, but
not too
like,
far from here?
If
Oak Hill?
Yeah, Oak Hill. That's kind of similar.
That's
Combine.
true.
Yeah, Combine. They have some of those now.
Yeah, but that would be cool to go to.
I think those are invitation only as well.
I never tried out. How do you know I couldn't get an invitation?
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have dominated.
Yeah,
at it.
thank you.
I have no doubt. So you go to sports school,
Yeah.
go through high school, 13th grade.
How did you get recruited?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to ask her? Sorry.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
So sorry.
Perfect question.
Recruited here.
To
Yes.
come to Charlotte.
When I was 12 years, 11, 12?
Of age.
No, 13. Wait. I had to think. It was in 2015. I went with my coach. He took us to the United States to a tournament, the AAU championship tournament in Orlando, Florida. And that's kind of like the first exposure I had to the United States. And we came back in 17 and 19. And that's kind of like how I got introduced to the idea of going to college. And what was appealing was that it's similar to the sports school, right? You have both athletics and academics in a good level. You can combine it, do both. So it took me a long time to decide if I really want to do it or not. But in the end, I was like, why not? So I went through an agency, got kind of like a profile where I like introduced myself through a video and showed video material of me playing. And then coaches could see that and reach out to me. And then, I think Charlotte reached out a couple others, and then I actually turned down Charlotte first. They invited me for a visit, and I don't even know why, but it was before Christmas, and at that point I was like, no, I don't want to come. I was talking to another university where I liked the coach a lot, but it was a small
What's the name of the university?
Lewis Clark State College, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's a NAIA school.
Hey,
So
I played NAIA. Don't hate on it.
no, I didn't say
No, I
anything.
know,
I just said it's a smaller school.
I was just kidding.
But I really like the coach there. But after Christmas, I
That's
talked to.
crazy. You went NAIA to D1.
Well, I just talked to a bunch of different schools.
Yeah,
right?
like you didn't really.
And I talked to them. I talked to a couple others. I talked to UTSA, and they invited me for a visit. And then I don't even know why, but I decided to go and visit and go to Charlotte and then UTSA.
Now, UTSA is University of Texas, San Antonio?
Yes.
Okay.
That would have been so fun.
Yeah.
But then
Not
I
as
wouldn't be
fun as
here.
Charlotte.
No, I know. It would be sad,
Not-
but that would have been
not
fun.
like-
When I went on my visit, Charlotte just was more enjoyable. Not enjoyable, but it was more welcome. I felt more welcome. So I decided to come here.
I'm glad you did.
Me too.
Me too.
We would be sad if you
All right.
weren't.
So you come to Charlotte, you
Yes.
start school. Like, just walk us through like how that felt for you. Like, you're coming.
Well,
were you
interesting-
nervous? Like, what was the deal?
It was during COVID. It was
Oh,
in
that's right,
2020. So
2020.
it was right during peak of COVID.
Did you
And-
think about not coming during COVID?
Well, no, I didn't think about not coming, but the embassy was closed. I couldn't get my visa.
Oh.
And the next available appointment was in October, but class started in August. So that was kind of an issue. But
How'd they work that out?
Well, were your classes online?
yes, but I don't know. Well, I still had to go for volleyball, I think.
Oh,
But I
right,
was
for
trying to
practice.
like get there, but I couldn't find an appointment. So every day I checked and checked. And then at some point it randomly popped up and I got an appointment and get my visa on time. So I came in August.
Awesome.
But then, yeah, I had to quarantine for like 3 days because I came from a different country.
Oh, that's right.
I was in a
Forgot
hotel
about the
room.
quarantine. So
Yes.
they
Lot
brought
of
you your
rock the
meals.
COVID over.
They would knock and drop your meal off.
I don't think we did that. I was in a room with another athlete from India, maybe.
So that's not quarantine at all.
I mean, they kind of put us together and then for like 3 days in a hotel room.
That's
And then,
That actually is the stupidest thing. I'm so sorry.
and then we moved into the dorms. And I think that was, when we like moved, that it was, the like kind of first week, like we kind of like set it in. And then one of my teammates, Bethany, she on the weekend was like, "Hey, I'm going to church. Anybody wants to go with me?" And then Annika, who we already talked about, and Jess, our other roommate, we, like we're all Christians. So we're like, yeah, we want to go. So we went to Hickory Grove.
That's how you came to Hickory Grove?
Yes.
Was Bethany Clayton?
Yes.
which just so happened to be
Wow, look at Beth.
the day that we had a video on the screen about our college dinner that were starting at my
Yes.
house.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
on the screen?
Maybe, yeah. But we went to
Yeah.
the
It
college
was on the
dinner
screen.
that night, and it was a big group. We went through
Yeah.
Galatians, and there were a lot of people here.
Was it outside?
Yes,
Yeah.
we were outside. We were in a
Okay.
big
Check in at my
circle. We
garage.
had dinner.
Because I was a senior in high school and I didn't go out there.
Yeah, and
I was like, I'm not going.
and then I remember, I think it was Jacob or someone talking about it like in the big group, and then we kind of split up into like girls and boys, and like had like smaller groups. And we kept coming. I guess it was one of the things that like we were allowed to do during COVID because our coach was like, "Yeah, it's church, you can go."
Yeah.
So yeah, we continued to go until it got shut down.
That's right.
It got shut down?
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was an outbreak at COVID. And so we had to
Something.
shut
So
it down.
wait,
Yeah.
I'm trying to
You know,
remember.
the statement that I hated during that time was like, out of an abundance of caution, we're going to shut this
Ugh. I'm trying to remember COVID. So that was 2020, like the fall. So that's
Yes.
like when COVID happened in the spring before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really bad. And then
March, I think 12th was the
I
shutdown
did not
day.
know
Was
it
that
got
right?
shut down.
Yes.
So how long did it get shut down for?
Well, I don't know. We had our spring season, or we had our season moved to the
Right.
spring. So I don't think we really went to church in that spring because we were so busy.
And was there a Sunday school?
No.
No.
Sunday school didn't start back up until like August of 21.
Yes, and then I think we started going. We came back to church when we came back from our summer break. Went to Sunday school, and the dinner started. The Sunday night dinner started again, but it was a very small group.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Dang, I did not realize
Very
it
small group.
shut them down.
We call them the OGs. But then once a week, I would like go have lunch, like random places near the university. And Lara and
Annika.
Jess and Annika would always come. In fact, Annika would like drop hints. We had a group meet.
of where she wanted
It's
to
like-
go.
She was just like, I'm waiting for that lunch drop.
I'm feeling like lunch today.
Annika, that's funny.
So yeah, she was funny. But anyway, yeah, we had that going on, and so it started building from there. And
Mhm.
so, what kept like you personally? Let's just talk about you personally. Aside from the COVID thing, that was weird. But what kept you coming to the college ministry here at Hickory Grove? What attracted you, and what kept you?
Well, I think the Sunday night dinners are a big part of it. Especially me, like coming, from so far away and not having my family around. It was kind of like a time where you have like different people around that you're like not around daily, but it's kind of like this like family atmosphere. You're in someone's home. It's kind of like a home cooked meal. Not the, cafeteria food, dining hall food.
Yeah, the dining
Yeah, I was like,
hall.
what's the word? The dining hall food. So I think I really enjoyed that, and that like the conversations we had during that, it was really good. So I think that's a big part of like what kept me here.
Yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed those early days. They were good. It's allowed, we've kept that kind of relationship. Even the lunches. You're still like, it was usually like 4 people max that would come to lunch.
Lara's
Even
the
today.
number one member.
No, Lauren and I. We usually
Lara.
come together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a package deal now. So, well, let's talk about Lauren because you Like she wasn't a freshman with you. She didn't come in with you.
No, she's 2 years younger.
Yeah, 2 years younger than you. So, she came in her freshman year. How did that happen?
She came in her freshman year, and I think we kind of were like, "Hey, we're going to church. Anybody wants to come with us?" Kind of like what Bethany did with us. And she came with us. I think in the beginning it was like very rarely that she came, but then last year, that was her sophomore year. Last year, she started to come more and more and got more involved, and then
I felt like she came to the dinners most times.
She would come to the dinners, but now
But then it's now Sunday school.
Well, I think she went to church, but not Sunday school.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
she would always go to church.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, kind of what Annika did.
Careful, Annika might watch this.
She might watch that. I'm sorry.
Her and the 6 other people.
I'm calling out here.
Oh, that was funny.
Anyway, well, cool. So, all right. So you get here. So tell us. What is some of your favorite memories from? Because this is your last year. Yeah. I don't mean to bring this up.
No, it's not last year. It's last months. We're down to the last month.
We are down to the last month.
Actually,
the last 3.
3. There's only 3. Guys,
I'm going to cry real bad.
We know.
Yeah.
I have to say, to preference, that I think that my dad likes Lara more than the people in our family. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But he does really like her.
No, we
Not that he has favorites. But
genuine care and love for Lara, for sure.
it will be so crazy when we're not going to talk about it because you still have 2 months left.
All right, so let's talk about your favorite memories.
Yeah.
My favorite memories.
Yeah, any funny or favorite ones that stick out?
I think there's so many over the 4.5 years now. But I think Lumberton was a lot of fun.
Man, that was fun.
That was, I think, my spring break of my sophomore year. Yeah. I think just been home. Annika went to Spain, and I was kind of like left, and was like, well, I'm not going home, so like, what am I going to do? And then the kind of like the mission trip to like Lumberton came up, and we went and we started to like help building that house. It was a lot of fun.
I have pictures.
I was going to say, I've seen pictures of Lara with a nail gun.
She had a nail gun. She loved it.
Real deal.
She loved it.
Maybe you should call her the construction and not the mechanic. Wait, what?
Well, we got a story about the mechanic, so we'll get to that one. But she definitely was like running around like a contractor.
A contractor, not construction. What am I saying?
Well, whatever.
Either way.
Construction worker's fine. She had a nail gun. Ron King, who was on the trip with us.
I'm sure he loved you.
Oh, he
was probably like, this is a real woman.
Yeah, he made fun of all the guys. It's like, look at this girl. She's dominating. You guys are terrible. So he had the best time making fun of the guys. And you really did a great job. You served really well. I thought it was really cool.
I remember it being really hot. It was like it was February. It was the end of February. And
yeah, in the February, beginning of March.
We didn't expect it to be that hot, but then the sun came out and we were sweating.
It was because we had that spring break that was horrible. Remember? It was like at the it was awful.
It was in February.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, it was tough.
Spring break should
be hot. Lumberton, for those who don't know, was hit by Hurricane Florence, which was like 4 years earlier than that, like 2018,
and it's still in rebuild?
I think it got hit. So we were rebuilding homes from that, still from Florence.
That really makes you think about Western Carolina, how long it's going to take to rebuild.
Western Carolina, Katrina took like 10 years. There probably still effects from that.
So sad.
Just but we were still rebuilding that, and then she got to experience like they had just laid the foundation, so there was just a block foundation. We filled in the block foundation with kind of backfilling it, and then we put the floor joists on. So she was a big part of that. And my favorite memory of the whole thing. So we're getting the floors ready to put the flooring on.
You know what's coming.
And they're all trying to figure out these mathematical angles. And these guys have been in construction for, there's one guy that's been doing it for 50 years. He's a retired contractor. And it's one of the top guys. And they're all talking and they're looking at the blueprints and, moving them around and whatever and trying to figure out an angle. And Lara goes, oh, well, that's that, and that. She throws out the numbers and they're like, yeah, you're right. So we went off of her numbers. So she's been doing it for, day and a half.
Oh
and she reads the blueprints like she's been seasoned. Oh, man, it was.
Were you the only girl?
No, Serafina was.
Yeah. Serafina, I think there was a couple other girls.
No, I think it was
just
only
you two?
us two in the room.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So it was
That's
just
so
you.
Alex
funny
was
that you
there.
did that.
But
Who were the boys that were there? Was Charlie there?
Charlie's
came.
there. That's when he first started
Was
driving
Nicholas
the
there?
Bobcat. No, Nicholas came the next year.
Oh, I forget.
Nicholas came the next year.
Because I was going to say,
Because that's when y'all were gone. Y'all went to a cruise.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were on a cruise.
She went on a cruise instead of a mission trip, but
Well, the invitation to the mission trip came too late.
it's fine.
I would have much rather been on a cruise.
Yeah.
In my personal.
But it was fun. We had a good time there.
Yeah, we did.
That
All
is
right.
so funny. That's crazy. I did not know
Anything
that you
else?
did that.
I mean, Honduras was a cool experience, and I think
Oh,
we did a bake sale before. We did a bake sale before Honduras to kind of like raise money, and we were at the sports field on Mala Creek campus, and the kids were playing softball. And we were just like sitting there selling our baked goods. And then, well, we had time. So Rick started talking about his flag football team. And he coached that morning. And I mean, we had time, right? So he went on for like half an hour. And like, we got the whole like demonstration of like
Not
what the
half an
kids
hour.
did. It was.
I'm sure it was.
And-
Lana would not lie.
Thank you. But the funniest part is that Lon makes fun of that every time. And
Every time.
always brings it up.
Yeah.
Because he was so enthusiastic and passionate
That
about
is literally
when he
So-
was talking about it.
That was my first time coaching that team. That was the first practice, first game.
Are we about to get a
No.
reaction of the whole story?
We got beat
Here
like,
goes. Do we have half an
We
hour?
have 30 minutes.
we got beat like by, it was like 48-2. It was a ridiculous score.
No.
And it was the best.
48-2
Oh, it was
is
terrible. We got
horrible.
destroyed.
It's awful.
But we finished the season and we made it to the championship game, played that team again, and we lost. We'd lost, but we lost on the last play of the game and the last second of the game by 2 points.
But throughout
And
the
it
whole
was a missed. Our guy missed a catch
Oh my
to win it. So yeah.
but throughout the whole summer, Lauren and I would get texts about like, "Oh, we won, we lost," and we were on the loop.
It was only we won after that.
That's really funny. That is so funny. Yeah, that sounds like you telling a story about your.
Oh, come on.
He'll help us like with like I'm coaching soccer or something, and he'll help me coach one game. He'll be so invested in it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't even know these people, but he is invested. I think it's great. I think
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah. Well, apparently everybody thinks it's funny. So
Well,
Yeah, good
don't be
memory.
don't be sensitive.
I'm not going to be sensitive.
You.
Okay. So tell us, let's do this. Tell us about anything that's been helpful to you since you moved here, got involved in HG College, which you're repping right here, which I love. That's great. Anything that was helpful to you in your walk with the Lord, anything.
Definitely. Well, I said I was a Christian when I came here, but I didn't really learn how to grow in my faith and walk in my faith. I wasn't really taught that, how to study the Bible and like have personal time. So I think coming here and like hearing the sermons in a completely different way and learning how important like personal time with the Lord is, but also like how to study the Bible really helped me grow in my faith. And I think that's when I actually started to walk in my faith with the Lord. Because before, I mean, I believed it, but I wasn't living it.
Yeah.
Athletics was a big part of it, just like taking over my life. But I began to realize that that's not like all there is, right?
Yeah.
It's part of my life, but it's not my life.
Right.
So
That's good.
That's
That's
really
really
I
good.
think that was really helpful with like Sunday school, Bible studies, Sunday nights.
And you really got plugged into our church. I mean, you did like
Yeah.
pickleball with like 80-year-old people.
Yeah, we started it. It
Yeah,
was, I think
that's
it
right.
was Allison, Grant, Houston, and me. We went to the first one.
Yeah.
Either it was right before
Well, it was
Christmas
going-
or after Christmas.
Tim Scott, they were doing it. So it
Yeah,
was like-
well, we went with the like older people.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, we were the like first
first college people.
college people going
I will
there.
say that was the funnest. Like that was a good thing.
Good
Yeah.
season.
It was
yeah.
very fun. Like
And
just
then
playing.
we started coming and
Yeah.
it was
Like
a lot
40
of fun.
40 or 50 people.
Yeah, I
coming.
loved playing with all the, I don't want to call them older, but like I loved playing with them. They were so much fun, and they were, I loved it because in the beginning they were all so much better than all of us.
Yes.
And we were
They're,
like getting
a lot
school-started.
older, and like we're moving faster and we're athletic, but they're beating
they were
us.
killing us, and we
Yeah.
were like, why are they
We're
so
D1 athletes, and well, not we.
Yeah,
Y'all
not
are
we. Them.
athletes, and I'm like, we're just getting worked.
I know, it was, yeah, they were so, they were
And they're just
good.
laughing, and they love it. And you know, there's 60 plus, and just wearing every one of us out.
Yeah, they were fun.
It was great,
That was
but they loved it.
They were very
and
patient,
very
teaching
patient
us.
with us.
Oh my gosh, they
taught
taught
us.
all of us how to play.
It was a good community. I mean, remember we got the
It was.
pickleball T-shirts, and
It was cool because it was like the one thing that younger people could relate to with older people. And it was like something that we could like do together and it not just be like, oh, we do this by ourselves. And then,
Yeah.
it
and there was
cool.
relationships that came out of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, you now know a large part of the church because of pickleball.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
and the professional pickleballer, Jim Spencer.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Doc, yeah, he's good.
Oh yeah, Doc. I forget you call him that.
Yeah.
Very talented man.
That whole group, you know, like Doc and Sandy and
And
Tim,
Terry.
Tim and Terry, they're great.
King and queens.
That's right.
They
really
are.
are.
They were the
Yeah.
best.
They really made that thing go.
They were.
Yeah, and
they
it
are
was really special.
so cool.
So it was a good time.
I have a question. How would you say like the relationships that you've built within the college ministry, do you feel like, or how do you feel like that those have helped you like throughout your walk
Just
with the
in the college ministry?
well, like just like relationships in general, like with people in the church and like all of that.
Well, I think, so when I was home, as I said, I went to sports school and religion wasn't really like talked about a lot. And, none of my friends really like outside of our church were Christians. So it was really hard to like build that community, and like they were like different parts of my life. They didn't interfere at all. Whereas now, like you have Lauren or Annika who I played with, but also go to church with. And then you have other teammates who like are just teammates, and then other people who are just church. And I think it's really like a good mix of like all different kinds of relationships, and definitely help having like believers on the team that share the same values, but also have those relationships outside of sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even one that went all the way to Germany home with you
Yeah.
over the break. Yeah, that was
Oh yeah.
Sarah came home with me
and got engaged. So crazy.
Some redneck chased her all the way to Germany.
Isn't it funny that they got engaged in Germany?
Yeah.
It's a cool story.
It is so cool.
It was a cool story.
And that you were there. I think that's so cool.
Well, the best part was I'm sitting on the couch next to Sarah at like 11 p.m. at night for us. And I get a text from Rick, and he's like, "Can I ask you a question when Sarah's not around?" And I'm like, what does he want? Like, I thought he was joking and like being silly. So I'm like, sure. And I tell Sarah, "Hey, Rick just texted me like this weird text." And then Rick says, "Don't tell Sarah, but what if Caleb, her boyfriend, comes and proposes to her?" And I'm trying not to freak out on the couch next to her. And
you should have said, "I'm sitting beside her."
I knew she was. So I sent
because
her a text.
Caleb texted with Sarah at the same time. But my jaw kind of dropped. I was like, "Oh no, I can't show anything." So, and then it was late, right? So I went in the shower and I was like, "Okay, I have to get myself together." And I was like avoiding Sarah to talk to her about it. And then the next day she was like, "Oh, what did Rick want?" I'm like, "Oh, he was just being silly." But she believed it. So
well, yeah, I was like, just tell her I'm being
I'm
silly.
just saying,
Whatever.
I would never be able to keep that secret. I would tell, like, but I would try not to, because so badly, I think that like engagement should be the biggest surprise. Like, I hate you. Well, it's just your personality, but like people that are like, I want to know. I'm like, I don't want to know a single thing. Like, if somebody tells me, I'm going to be mad. They better change the whole thing. No, but like, I would have a hard time not telling. That would be so hard.
Yeah. That was cool, though. That was
it was really cool.
Will you
like
come
you built
for
this
her?
really good relationship with Sarah.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Man,
It's a great friendship.
Yeah. And then
She's a
she
great
goes
girl.
home with you. And that's why I texted her. I didn't want to ruin your trip with her. So that's why I was trying to protect it, you know. But it was kind of towards the end.
Yeah.
She was coming home that like 2 days later.
Yeah.
So it ended up working out.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Will you come home for her wedding?
I don't know when her wedding
Oh, I'm
is.
sorry. I shouldn't call it home. Will you come back to Charlotte?
Well,
I don't know
you can
yet.
call
It kind of depends. It's a second home. It's a home away from home.
Period.
How can we get her back?
She's
Anybody
never
hiring?
no.
German?
Yeah, seriously, honestly, I mean, if we would be, they would be lucky to have her
Honestly.
on their staff.
I mean, she's never failed
But she
anything in
needs
her
to go
life.
back home. I know,
That's so true.
seriously, what? You should try and take like the MCAT and see if you can get on it. I bet you would honestly probably get a good grade. What's the good score? Like a 215 or something? I think.
No
Oh.
idea.
Oh,
But the issue is I can't play volleyball if I stay here.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Well, okay, but maybe
So she's
let's
going
say
to play pro ball in Germany.
it's
Semi
Yeah.
pro ball.
What if you go and you play semi-pro and you're like, this isn't for me, and then you're like, I'm gonna move back to Charlotte? You think that would happen?
it could be possible. I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Kind of
I don't
depends
wish
how I
that
said about
upon you.
getting into Germany, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's cool that you're gonna play semi-pro. I think that we need to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's cheaper to fly. We found out this week. It's cheaper to fly to Germany than it is to fly out west.
Yeah. My niece is getting married. It's more expensive
The
for us
flights
to
are more
fly
expensive to go to
to
Montana.
Montana than it is for us to fly to Europe.
Yeah.
So
It's also cheaper to fly if you were like wanting to go ski. Is this why we were talking about that? Like
Yeah.
to go skiing?
yeah,
In the Alps.
Yeah, in the Alps. And it's cheaper for us to go skiing in the Alps than it is to go
to Colorado.
Colorado.
So weird.
So that's crazy.
It's crazy. All right, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
All right. So what I've really appreciated about you, or maybe it's not a question, just me saying this. What I've really appreciated watching you connect with our churches, you've served like in every capacity at our church. Like every event we have, you serve, with children. Like you were now like the official house sitter, dog sitter for like the entire church at Hickory Grove. Is
I
that,
think that's true. But
huh?
I said I don't think that's true.
How many people have you dog sat for or house sat?
I don't know. I mean, it's been a couple, but the church is big.
It's just because you're just trustworthy. Like I wouldn't trust her if I was like across the world, like let's say I was in California and I was like, I need this from my house, and the only person I would call is Lara. Lara, I need you to do this.
I would do it.
And she would do it perfectly, and everything would work out.
Yeah. She's definitely trustworthy for sure. So I just have noticed like how well you've served the church. I wonder if you would say that's been a big part of you connecting.
Definitely. I mean, that's how you get to know, I guess, other people outside of the college ministry. We have like some older couples, or some couples in the college ministry who like serve there, right? Serve us. But outside of that, it's like hard to get to know other people because the church is so big.
Yeah.
But if you get involved through those events, like you get to know different people, different ages, and it kind of like helps building that community outside of college where you only have your same age people.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point, because I do think when you're in such a big church, it can seem smaller once you start investing your time in those things. So like meeting new people, and like you're not going to meet somebody like when you're serving at something. Like I served at the what is it called? The Thanksgiving dinner, and I met a lady that I probably would have never met if I didn't do that. So I think
she asked me about you all the time.
she was so very nice.
Yeah.
But you served with her for an entire night.
Yeah, but it's that like what Lotte was saying. Like you wouldn't
connect with them.
You wouldn't meet those people unless you actually committed to something. So I think that's a really good point.
I do think it's helpful. All right, so you're not done with sports yet.
No.
But life after Charlotte. Do you have any fears, or like is there any unknowns? Like are you
fears? I don't know if I would call them fears. I think there's some unknowns yet. I know I'm gonna play volleyball. In Germany, that's for sure. But, I don't know yet, like my job, what I'm going to do with that. We're also looking for like apartments right now, where I'm going to live, and, all of that. So I think there are many unknowns that like, I don't know yet. But I'm not anxious about it, or I don't fear it. I'm just waiting for it to happen, and there's not much I can do right now, especially since I'm here. So,
that's cool. Now you're not going to
look.
be playing in your hometown.
No.
6 hours away.
Yeah.
Which I did just find out, which I think is crazy. I didn't know that.
Now is any of your family, like your brother, going to move out with you, or?
No, Mom, we joked about it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And he was like, no, he wouldn't leave his fire station. But I knew that he wouldn't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I was going to ask, can he transfer to a fire station?
He could, but he loves his fire station at home. The like volunteer fire station. He's super involved in that. He wouldn't leave that. Not for me. So yeah, I'm gonna move 6 hours away. But my mom said she takes anything rather than the 5,000 miles.
6 hours is a lot different than across the ocean.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's cool. Well, that's good.
That is a good outlook on the whole thing.
I'm excited for you. I really am going to miss you, but
I'm going to miss it here.
We're excited.
And I think it's going to be really hard to leave. And it's a tough decision, like what I'm going to do, because I can stay here, I can go back, and now I kind of like have two separate lives. Well, yeah, two lives that like I really love.
Yeah.
And I have to decide, and that's a really tough decision. And in the end, well, the main factor was volleyball because I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
So that was one of the main factors, but that's a tough decision.
Now, would you say last year, did you think that you were going to stay in Charlotte for a long time, or did you think I'm going to move back to Germany?
I was always, I'm moving back to Germany.
Okay.
And my first 3 years, I was like, I'm not staying a fifth year. I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. But then it came around, I was like, I'm going to stay another year. So, and it wasn't because of volleyball, because I think volleyball, I could have been more successful personally or grown more somewhere else, whether it's transfer or going back to Germany. But everything around it was here. I had the community, the church, friendships. So I was like, yeah, I'm not ready to leave.
Yeah, you could have left. I mean, you had transfer opportunities.
Yeah. I could have left. Yeah. Go back to Germany, transfer, anything. But it just wasn't my time to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's cool. I don't think it's your time to leave now, but that's... No, I'm just kidding. It is.
No, that was good. I appreciate that. We talked about that in Honduras quite a bit, but I have been encouraged by your faithfulness at Hickory Grove and to the Lord. Watched you kind of grow, and the questions we would have around this, not necessarily this particular table, but the tables that I've had in this room over the last 4.5 years. We've sat around many lunches, many meals we've spent together. So.
Yeah, and it pays back to you, right? I mean, yes, I'm serving the church, but the church also serves me. And I think especially with like struggles that like happened, like my car. It was last year in August. No, 2 years, 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think my car broke down, and I mean, you usually would call your dad, right? But mine is in Germany. I can't really do much.
There you go, Rick.
So, and like a college-age girl, a friend wouldn't really be helpful. So, I called Rick, and he came and helped me. And, I mean, the next day we kind of knew my car's a lost case. So, but I think that was a Friday. And then on Monday, he was like, oh, someone in church is selling her car. And I had a car within a couple of days. And I think that was really, really helpful.
Yeah. And that same car, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, she calls me, which I'm sorry. I was at like a meeting.
I texted you first, but you didn't respond. So at some point I was like, I'm going to call him now.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting. I would respond. But,
I love that.
I was like, I thought he was ignoring me.
Yeah. I love that statement of I was in a meeting, because I just feel like, what is this meeting that you cannot answer your phone?
Well, I mean, I like to be present in the meeting. So, anyway, long story short, I get see that I missed this call, and
no, when I called you picked up.
Oh yeah, so you called me, so I picked up, and then she's like, my car couldn't go and drive. I backed up, and then the shifter was not going into gear, and
it's just not
so
doing
she
anything.
had to park her car, and I was like, well, I'll see if I can get somebody to look at it Monday, and because it was like the weekend.
Yeah, it was Friday. It was Friday morning.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we were getting ready for the date night.
Yeah.
It was date night.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you charcuterie queen.
Yes.
Wada was my...
And she came.
I was a helper.
Cars broke down. She comes.
And I didn't even know your car broke down until we got there. But
yeah, no, I had good people who...
Yeah, that's right. Lee and Melody. Yeah. Man, Lee and Melody, we should shout out to them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she lives with them.
Yeah, they've been super, super supportive. And
And they fall in love with you too. So, I mean, like, you're basically an extra daughter for them. So anyway, so I send her, I do some research after date night's over, and I've got time
Saturday, yeah.
So I've got some time to think. On Saturday, I send her some videos. Hey, I can't get out there because I'm coaching basketball. And
I
so
didn't know that.
I sent her a couple of videos and of what I think it probably is. And she looks it up. She watches the videos and she tore her car up.
She fixed it,
put it back together, and she's back on the road.
Listen, one time I figured out how to put my power steering fluid in my car by myself, and I felt so accomplished until I heard that story.
It's probably not. It wasn't that complicated.
And
I had some help from Lee. But
then he had to leave, right? So he helped you take some stuff apart, but then he had to leave. Right?
I don't know. He was busy. Yes, I took it apart by myself, and I found the issue, and then I got the part that I needed. And when I came back, he kind of like helped me because it was this like small bushing.
There you go. That's it.
That needed to go back in. So I needed help putting that back in. And then, yeah, it was funny. We put it back together and like it worked. So we're putting it back together and then I have this like one metal piece. Then I'm like, oops, I forgot to put it back in. So we had to take the like middle part out again. I put it in, we put it back together and it didn't work.
Oh no.
So the shift cable came off again. We're like, oh no. So we had to take it apart again. And then we finally fixed it.
Well, so welcome to being a mechanic.
Thank you.
That's how things happen.
So if you need help.
Lara, aka the mechanic. So, man, well, it's been cool talking to you for sure.
Yeah.
It's been real neat. I don't know if you want to go into our next section here where we got some stuff.
Enough from me.
Well, some stuff the transgender stuff in the women's sports.
Oh, right.
What do you, I mean, you're from Germany. So like a lot of this.
What does that mean?
Meaning that some of this American politics don't really matter to you.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, she's living here for right now.
I got you. But this
on
particular,
I can't do much. Like I can't vote or anything, right?
So this particular issue does affect you.
Yeah.
At least would have affected you.
Well, I think there was one transgender girl who played it out west, I think somewhere. And there was, yeah,
that's right.
And there was a lot.
San Jose State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was like we heard that going around and like seeing videos of him hitting, and it's just like athletically so different because the genetics are so different. So that player has an advantage.
Yeah.
In hitting those balls and like girls getting hit in the face, which happens, but they have some speed behind it and it looked bad. And yeah.
I've been to several matches, and when Jess hits the ball hard, she can kill it.
Oh yeah.
But the difference between a Jess and then a man is still.
Well, Jess is like more than average, right? She's above average, athletic, and it's just great, like super athletic person, which gives her an advantage, right? But then that player is average for male, but is above average for female. Mm-hmm. So that player is nothing special in the male's world,
right?
But it becomes like a really great player in the female's world because of just those like genetic advantages. Yeah. And I don't think that's fair.
It's not fair. And if you allow that, you just have a second tier male sports system.
Yeah. Well, and it's just crazy because I just feel like if somebody heard this concept like years ago, like, oh, by the way, there's going to be men playing against you, like it just wouldn't fly.
And I mean, they're like mixed tournaments, right? Especially in beach where like boys and girls, like men and women play together, and that's fine. And there are like some rules to like make it fair, because the men's play on a higher net than us girls, and much higher. So there's like some adjustments that go on, and it makes sense because they're rules. But then if you have the transgender, it's kind of like the same concept, but there's no adjustment.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just allowed to play freely.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that that's like even like a question that we should allow transgender, because at the same, like they're not, when they're going through whatever the operation is, they're not changing their athletic ability.
No.
At all.
Well, so now there's a mandate, an executive order that college athletes have to be biologically male or female to participate in that sport.
Yeah, which is
so I think that's a good
crazy
mandate. Order. it's helpful, and it protects women, which is the goal. Protect women from.
I think it just protects like sports in general, because I do think if you start allowing men to come into any female
it just
sport,
changes the whole
it changes
system.
the whole thing, and it changes the entire way that I think women's sports would operate. It's just not fair. But I'm glad that they put a stop to it.
All right, well, let me ask Addie a question.
Go ahead.
About sports right now. Because Addie has turned into a Fever fan.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
She is a women's basketball
but
fan.
I have to accredit my sister Shelby.
Yes.
She's
Shelby.
the queen of the Fever. I don't know.
She is. But you have acquired this appetite for WNBA.
Yes, I do really like it.
You do like it.
Oh,
you were hoping that Charlotte would have, in fact, you wanted Charlotte to have that expansion team. But
yeah, did that actually happen?
No, it did not.
I have to look up something before you ask me this question.
Well, I was going to ask you about.
I need to see who's on the roster right now.
Some trades.
Oh, because I am really upset about a couple.
You're upset about Katie Lou.
I am upset about Katie Lou. I'm sad. I think I loved the Fever as a team last season because they just had such good connections, chemistry. Yeah, that's the word. Like they were
at least after the Olympic break.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The Olympic break was the best thing ever for the Fever because they had that time where all the other people, they were the only team in the league that didn't have one of their players playing on the Olympic team. So they got to have that time, what is it? 4 weeks? How long was the Olympic break?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's pretty good, a decent amount of time for them to just practice and have time to connect with one another and just hang out and not only just be teammates, but be friends. And I think when that happened, they came back and they started playing super well and they were winning. And then they were in the running for the,
which I think in sports, tournament. I think connection is almost as important as ability. Right.
I would agree. Yeah. I think you have to have good relationships with your teammates because you have to trust them. If I don't trust a teammate, I'm probably not going to pass them the ball, So it's you got to have that good foundation. And so I think that's what the Fever was really building off of. And now they fired their coach, which I think Christy Sides looks just like my mom. We used to make jokes about it, but they fired their coach, which I do think that the new coach will be good. But I am sad they switched. I'm sad that Katie Lou left. And also, what's her face? Erica Wheeler. She's gone too.
Yeah. Well, I think that, there's always a fear of the chemistry, the change of, because you experience this every year, right? There's always new girls moving in and other girls leave. And that, chemistry is a big part of being a good team. Every coach tries to get every team to connect off the court, or off the field, whatever your sport actually plays on. But it's important. And I think that ability, I think they've improved. The Fever, they've improved.
Oh, yeah. I think that they'll definitely... I think now they're looking more into they're a championship team.
Yeah. Well, they've got the caliber of talent.
With their new, and I think it will be
now. They just got to connect as a team.
Yes.
And I think that has to happen.
But I was sad, and I was going to be really mad if they traded Lexi. I don't think I would have gone to the game.
Yeah. I bought her tickets for
July.
Christmas to go to Indiana.
Me, Shelby, and my mom.
And watch the Fever play, which is near Lauren's house, but she'll be here in Charlotte.
Yeah, we found out because it's I want to say it's the second week of July or
it's right after July 4th.
So she'll be in Charlotte for volleyball. And she was like, of course it's the one time I'm not going to be there. But yeah, it's I think an hour from her house. So
anyway.
But yeah, that'll be fun. I think it'll be good. But ultimately I was really sad when they cut Katie Lou. Yeah. That's okay though.
All right. Well, I think that, so one of the things that I would say when we talk about team and connection and stuff is it's different when you're leaving and you're going to play still. Yes. So your sports career is not over. But when a lot of people graduate college and they leave their sports team and they're not going professional in any way, whether it's semi-pro or pro at all, they're now entering the world that they think about it. Most of them have been playing since they were kids. This sport or a sport.
It's a big part of your life.
And it's a huge part of your life. And then when you're in college, it's 20 hours a week of practice not including the meetings and all the other stuff that goes along with it, or
I
the
think
travel and
this
the games.
past semester in the fall, we had like 40, 50 hours of volleyball, including travel, practice, games.
Yeah, and I don't think people are aware of that. So you spend all this time with these people.
Yeah.
And so you build these connections, and you have good relationships. And then when you leave, now you don't have any of that. Now you go to a job where you're kind of the new person, and you're not committed. Like, I want to win a championship for the Dell Corporation. You're not right. You're not committed to, like, I want to have blood, sweat, and tears in this. This report.
Yeah,
that
you're
I'm
kind of
doing.
forced to be friends with your teammates. Maybe not best friends, but have a connection with them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to a job, like, you can be like an outsider and it doesn't matter. So you actually have to like seek out those relationships instead of just it being given to you.
Yeah. And I think people struggle. Struggle. Like, I've got friends that were in high school, and I think this is where you have these guys who relive their high school glory days. And it's not like they're not really reliving their glory days in high school, the sport itself. It's the relationship. It's the locker room.
Yeah.
I think what they miss the most is the locker room. And most of the people that struggle with it the most are people that aren't connected to a strong church where they have community inside a local church. And I think that community aspect of sports is so deep, but it's nothing like the connection you have in a local church. Because just like an athlete has, you have all similar goals. You might not get along outside of that goal, or you just don't have the same interest, but you have the same goal. Like a church, we might not have the same interest of everybody that comes to that church, but we all have the same goal, to serve Christ. And those connections in a church run way deeper than those connections in a locker room around a little ball. But they're, for people who aren't involved in a church, man, that's all they have. And then when they lose that, there's a struggle. It's an identity struggle. They don't know who they are. They don't know what their purpose is anymore. It's a really difficult thing. And so I'm glad you don't have that issue. Not that sports aren't ever for you, but you understand.
But I think it's going to be interesting going back to Germany and like finding a new church, especially because I'm moving away from home. So it's going to be like all new again, like finding that community.
Yeah.
I think
But now you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I know what I'm looking for, but do I find it?
I think you will, because I think you're not a quitter. I think no, because I think a lot of times they'll try one thing and they're like, oh, I can't find it, I'm done. And then they're just like, they sit in their isolation. But I think you're going to be like, well, it's not here, but it might be somewhere else. But
you're also one you created community here.
Yeah.
Like you
brought a lot of people
it.
here. Yeah.
It was, remember we had a bunch of people that came early, and then a lot of them graduated and moved on in the midst of COVID.
Like, I couldn't imagine if you decided, like, in the early times to be like, oh, this is just not for me. I'm not going to come. Like, it would be so different without you. So, and because you've brought so many people, and yeah.
Yeah. I just think that, like, that's the thing. You can be a part of creating new community in a place. Some people are like, well,
you can be
I'm not,
Lara.
I don't know anybody. They're not real nice to me. So I'm just going to leave and go somewhere else. And when you could be like, well, church teaches good stuff. There's a potential here. Let me help create some of this.
Yeah. But I think Hickory Grove played a big part in like teaching me what to look for, and like also like how to help build that community.
Yeah, well, that's good.
That's good. Well,
I think that's all I've got, pretty much.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I really liked that conversation. It was interesting.
Lara, you're the best.
Stuff about Lara.
She's the best. All right, so let's ask this one question first before we dismiss everything.
Okay.
How do you pronounce your name when you tell somebody
in Germany?
No.
Oh.
How do you say my name is?
Yeah.
And you try to help them pronounce it right.
Well, I would say my name is Lara. It's Lara.
La la.
No, there's no L. It's La la.
La la.
It's Lara.
No. There is an L at the Starbucks. So where was?
Oh, it was lava. They put a V in it.
I just like your Starbucks order. It's a it's a cafe latte, and somebody ordered something the other day, and I said, "Oh, did you get a cafe latte?" And they were like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's Lada's order." I don't know why I know that because we used to do that thing. We were talking about it the other day. We used to do that Starbucks thing every.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
7:30 in the morning.
And I came. I just
did?
want that to be on the note. I did go to that.
Yeah.
Me, Lada, Emmy. Who else?
Serafina.
Serafina.
Yeah. I'd start it back. So just got to have somebody who wants to do it.
Yeah. Just has to be earlier, I think. We start practice at 8.
Oh, yeah.
At 9. I don't know.
You probably graduated.
She got 2 months.
2 months.
Three.
All right.
March, April, May.
Well, look, I don't know what's coming up next episode.
Guess it's for you guys to listen to.
Yeah, we got some surprises, I guess. Lada, this was a great conversation.
Yes.
Man, it was great having you on. You were our first guest.
You
I
should.
appreciate
Maybe our
it. I'm
only
honored.
guest. I mean, this might be the last podcast we ever have. People might shut it down, but no, it's been a great time. I've enjoyed having you.
Yeah,
And
it was very great.
it was good to introduce you to the rest of the world.
Thanks.
Hopefully your parents will watch. We can have
They won't
somebody
understand a word.
in Germany.
Ooh, they won't understand.
No, they don't speak
Google
English.
can translate, right?
Yeah, they can. Or
Yeah.
it can.
It's probably going to be.
Not only has it, she didn't fail a test, but she learned English.
The first time I came to church, I didn't understand a word. I remember I had a German Bible. I came with that Bible. I don't think I even knew which book written because some of the names are different.
Oh, that's right.
They're German names. I don't know which way they got changed, but they're different sometimes. And I had it, but yeah, I didn't understand a word.
That's okay.
That's phenomenal.
That's crazy.
But I do now, so.
Yeah, you're good at English.
All right.
Well, thanks
for
for
joining us.
watching.
Thank you.
Oh, we have to handshake with Lana.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, you wrong.
Cut the camera.